Hey, good morning. And it's demo day. Tyler and I are going to get started up top. Stand by for a montage. So Tyler and I are taking a little break. He's actually going to start vacuuming here in a second, so I wanted to jump in here real quick. So we demoed all of the trim. Both the caps on all of this was just glued down. There were no nails in there whatsoever. I mean, there was like maybe a pin nail right here, but in general, you can see they were just glued down. They came right up. That's where the new wall is going to go, the half wall here. How about luck for that, huh? There is definitely a stud right where I need it to be. Challenge here, this electricity has to come out of this wall, but what it's going to do, I'll pull it back. I'm pretty sure it supplies from this plug. We'll pull it through here and bring it into the new wall over here. And that's will probably give me one circuit where I can put some stairway lighting in. That was one thing that Michelle and I complained about, is this was always really dark. There's no window up here. We talked about putting a window in here. We still haven't gotten completely on board with that yet. We don't know what's going to happen. We'll figure it out here shortly though. Now what I have to do, I've pulled most of the drywall off. I'm trying to leave drywall in strategic areas, like obviously rear along this new half wall, because I don't need to redo the drywall on either side of this stair right here. I probably could have cut that a little higher right there, but it is what it is. I should have come probably to that point right there and gone across. But this is actually the seam line. This is the mud joint. Now what I have to do is, where that beam is right there, I have to cut along this wall to create a carrying beam for the new floor that's going to go here for the closet, and then wrap that around to here. Fortunately, I have 2 points of reference. I've got this beam here and then this beam here. That beam's going to have to get cut out, and we're going to have to put some studs in right about here to carry this load, but we'll do that from down below when we get to that part of the project. We're still working our way from the top down. Tyler and I are going to pull all the drywall first, get that all cleaned up, and then start removing some of the structures. Okay, back to time lapse. So we're at the end of day one. We got about probably 80% of all the drywall that needs to be removed out of the house. I was hoping to get to some of the structural changes today, but that doesn't look like it's going to happen. As you can see, we made it all the way downstairs as well. I've got the ceiling pulled down, the new access from the lower stairs to the upper stairs, and I got lucky. There's a stud right where that wall connects. So the only problem I really have to deal with is this heating duct. But that is a problem for tomorrow, Scott. All right, good morning. Just me right now. Tyler's still asleep because it's not even 8 o'clock in the morning yet. Michelle's at work. I got about a half day today. I got an appointment at noon I got to get to. If you've never done this type of work, it affects your sleep because you think about all the challenges you have and what you have to overcome. So I laid in bed last night for about an hour and a half trying to figure out this duct. And ultimately, what I need to do is slice this drywall down. I'm almost at a point right now where this whole entire piece needs to come off because I have to do some electrical work over on this side as well. And then once I get, pull you around here, this wall built, I'm going to have to go down into the crawl space and bring that duct up through this wall once it's built. And the name of the game here is to reuse as much of this ducting as possible. Shouldn't be a big deal. So cut this open, pull that duct out, and then go down into the crawl space, which is really easy, and I'll show you that here in a second. And just extend, which I think is a 6-inch flexible, across and then up into the new wall. Not a big deal at all. I think the hardest part of this whole thing is going to be cutting this duct right here and getting the elbow put back on it. So that's the project for today. I'm gonna pull this drywall, figure out what this duct's doing, and then I gotta pull some more drywall. I gotta pull the drywall off that wall right there, and then a little bit more down in here in the spandrel. I called it a spadle yesterday. It's called a spandrel. Up in here as well has to get pulled out. So time for some more time lapsing. So I'm off on a little side quest right now because that wire right there is kind of in my way. This is going to be the opening upstairs. And I was looking up here and I noticed that originally it looks like they tried to come in. There's a hole right there. There's a hole right here and here, which is inside the wall. But I need this wire to be over here because you know what this is? This is the garage lighting. Okay, I'm in my living room. So this goes up, goes across, and then goes over on the other side of this door. There's a light switch right over here. So that's power, and that gets that power kind of interrupted by this switch. So there's a switch in here, and that goes up and it turns on the closet light. And that gets power from this traveler right here that goes through this outlet and then continues across. And this is the wire that eventually has to go away because this is opening now. And I could potentially move it up into here because, well, somewhere around here because that's staying. So I can come across that way. Well, anyways, that comes there, it comes across here, and it comes from this outlet. And right now what I have disconnected is the hot for the constant, which is the top of this outlet. And then the red is the switched outlet of the portion at the bottom. As you can see, that's still hot. So that continues down to that outlet over there, which the bottom is switched and the top is constant, through that outlet, which is just a constant, and then that's controlled by a switch. It's kind of behind that lamp over there. So what I have to do here is I have to disconnect these two. That's what feeds the switch in the closet and then onto the garage, and reroute that up. And what I think I'm going to do is kind of go up here, and I'm going to go through here, through the ceiling, and get into that bay, get into this bay over here, come across, and then come down into these switches. I think that will work better for me. Or I could come through this wall, you know. It's 6 and 1/2 dozen the other at this point. But I just wanted to go on that side quest to see kind of what I'm thinking and what other drywall has to come down. Probably a small piece right here and maybe another piece over here, right up in here, just so I can get in and out of this bay. And then over here, I think there's a piece of drywall that has to come off here anyways, probably right around here, to support the lower landing so I can get that into structure. If that is the case, then I'll be able to reach down into the wall and get to that. I don't think there should be no staples in here at all. There's probably one right around here somewhere. We'll kind of deal with that when we get to it. Another thing I wanted to talk about was backstabbing, and this outlet has been backstabbed. I don't know if you can see it. Oh, the lighting's cruddy. Let me see if I can bring this over here a little more. There's exposed copper on every single one of these wires. So this plug has pulled out, even though it's been installed in the wall for 10 years, it's never been removed. And that's what happened during the initial installation. So we don't backstab, okay? So you've seen what I've been doing through the time lapses, and I just wanted to explain some of my thought processes. Okay, I finally just ripped all this off of here. I was leaving pieces of drywall so that I kind of knew points in space where openings were going to start. And I did put a pencil line, and then this piece of drywall is absolutely going to stay. And that's where I have to put a stud right through here. Probably what I'll end up doing actually is cutting one of these and just sliding it over. No use in paying money for studs I don't need to use. In this corner, we already talked about what's going on here and what's going to go on here. This outlet's probably going to stay, but it's going to become a stair light. So my stairway gets dark, so we'll figure that out. Pulled this corner off. So this is the back side of the pantry right here. And this will become the entrance into the butler's pantry, which will continue that way. This is the drywall blocking. So roughly that's the inside. The only thing I got now that I'm dealing with is this. I have a feeling that is either cable or telephone. I could just cut it, except for I do use the Cat 6 upstairs to run my mesh system, and I don't know if this particular one supplies that. So I think there's going to be enough flexibility where I may be able to just kind of move it into this bay over here, cut away this bottom plate, slide it over. We'll have to get to that when we get to that. There's a lot of plane here. I mean, as you can see, this thing goes all the way across the bay. So I really only have to move it like right to there. This, I think, you know, that's a good deal, man. That's blocking for the railing. They did a good job with that. So I'll have to repeat that on the other side. Okay, so we made it to the end of day 2. I spent most of the day downstairs. Pulled all that drywall off. I pulled all that drywall off. I pulled, oh, it's dark in here. Let's turn some lights on. Yep, one more time. There we go. And we pulled the rest of this drywall off. I spent most of my afternoon today fixing wire. So I pulled out that circuit that was along the wall there, rerouted it, and as you can see, I have a new outlet down there. I got a pull hole right there I got to fix. This wire here is eventually going to go in the wall that's going to be here, and that carries power over to that junction box, which is now 2 switches. One, when you open the closet, is a motion, and then I have a recessed LED light. It's hanging in there right now, but it's going to also have another light that's under the second landing down in the spandrel. And then I got one more wire over here that is going to be for the stairway lighting, which is going to be dusk to dawn type. So when it's dark, they'll turn on, and when it's light, they won't turn on. Okay, so I'm going to call it a night, and I'll see you in the morning.